Hi everyone, this is my instant match review to the England 2 Albania 0 game. As expected, a bit of a dry watch. They tend to be these World Cup qualifiers. You play against teams who turn up and they're well drilled, well coached. They're the best 11 players in their country. They know how to get 11 men behind the ball. And Albania did that. They had a good Euros though, Albania, so it wasn't an easy game. And we had to work hard for it. Goals for Lewis Skelly and, of course, the inevitable goal from Harry Kane in the second half. And a good start to Thomas Tuchel's reign. You know, I wouldn't say there were miles of differences between Tuchel and the old Gareth Southgate style. A bit different to the Lee Carsley kind of more get more young players on the pitch and do whatever you want style. But it looks like Tuchel has got some counter-pressing into them. That's kind of what I'd say was the big change for me. Got them counter-pressing, all working hard in a decent shape. I'll do some player ratings later on, but I'll just go through the kind of minute-by-minute report, of which there's not a great deal because it's international football and, you know, I'm a Spurs fan, so I'm used to these match reports being absolutely full of end-to-end basketball game type stuff, but it's a bit slower in international football. In the 4th minute, England had their first skirmish, a deep run from Bellingham, and a dink over the top nearly found it, but the defender did enough. It was all England possession, even in the first 10 minutes. Albania, 11 behind the ball, pretty well drilled. 10th minute, Bellingham beat a man, got into the box. He found Rashford, who should have crossed it in between the keeper and the back four, but tried to cut it back. Nobody was there. 12th minute, another promising attack. England won it back. Kane was deep and dropped a ball over the top to Rashford, but just run ahead of him. 16th minute, Kane was almost through, but the keeper dived at his feet. Then the first goal in the 19th minute, all made by Jude Bellingham. Cut above, really, the rest of the England team. I think Jude Bellingham, in terms of his ability on the ball, his calmness under pressure, him just wanting the ball all the time, turning away from trouble, taking it on the half turn. Absolute quality. You can see why he plays for Real Madrid. And he was just in midfield, kind of dropping his shoulder a couple of times, waiting for a gap to open up. And he saw a gap with Lewis Skelly making a run in behind the fullback on the right, on Albania's right. And just the weight of pass from Jude Bellingham was perfect. And all Lewis Skelly had to do was show a bit of strength against the defender. And then as the keeper rushed out, toe poked it underneath him. Great finish for the debutant, the youngest ever England international goal scorer on debut. So well done, Miles Lewis Skelly. Hard to say as a Spurs fan, but we've got another exciting left back in the mould of Ashley Cole there. 25th minute, Rashford nearly in behind from a ball over the top, but a poor touch on his chest let it go through to the keeper. 26th minute, Albania hit the top of the bar, but it was from a Burn. Dan Burn deflected clearance, went up in the air, and Pickford should have probably just punched it out for a corner, but he didn't get high enough. And then Dan Burn just cleared it up with a header out for a corner after that. 33rd minute, beautiful stuff as Rashford drove at their right back, played a ball inside the back four, and Bellingham was through, toe poked it, but the keeper this time got some body on it and saved it. 34th minute, I made a note that I've been impressed by Dan Burn so far. Good passing between the lines, positive on the ball. 39th minute, Kyle Walker had his best moment of the match, reached the byline, cut it back to Bellingham, who made a late run into the box, 6 yards out, heads it down, keeper saves it well. Rebound falls for Harry Kane about 8 yards out, and you know the net's going to ripple, but he got a good strike on it, but somehow one of the Albania defenders manages to flick his shot over the bar. And from the resulting corner, Dan Burn got a good header, good neck muscles behind it, and it was kind of half saved, half crossbar. And Dan Burn really showing, especially in that first half, what a threat from set pieces he was. 48th minute into the second half now, and I've just made a note, say Ball was really attracted to Dan Burn in the box. He's playing really well. 58th minute, Rashford in down the left. Bellingham came to help him out, dinked across to Kane, who made a beautiful run across his fullback and headed it wide. You could argue maybe you'd expect Kane to score that one, but the fullback put pressure on him at the last minute, did just enough. 59th minute, great move on the transition from England. All started with Lewis Skelly reading a crossfield pass where Albania did have numbers forward, but Lewis Skelly picked it out really well. Drove forward, and then it came to Harry Kane, who slipped in Curtis Jones on the right, and he very unselfishly tried to play a ball just inside him for a tap-in, but the Albania defender cut it out. 60th minute, Kane with an amazing cross from deep to Jones. In that second half, Kane just dropping off to get the ball deep more and more. And that crossfield ball to Jones, he again first timed it to Foden in the box, but unfortunately it came just behind Foden. He couldn't bring it down. 65th minute, just made a note that the game had opened up a bit by this time. Broja was nearly into the byline, but well defended by Konsa, who I was very impressed with today. And then in the 68th minute, Dan Burns, really his only mistake. He got a little bit toe tight to Broja in midfield, and Broja was able to turn him, and at a panic, Dan Burn tries to turn at the same speed, and the weight just slips him over. And Albania could have got in there. Broja was in, and they had bodies forward, but his cross was easily picked out. And then in the 71st minute, brilliant defending by Konsa as Burn was beaten in the air, which you wouldn't expect to see. A flick on there through, but Konsa, Ledley King-esque, turned on the afterburners to get back and get rid of it. 73rd minute, we started bringing on substitutions. Gordon and Bowen and Rodgers on for Rashford, Foden and Jones. And then the second goal in the 76th minute. Harry Kane with a brilliant finish after a cross from Declan Rice, really good. And Kane, what he did brilliantly, unbelievable number 9 play. His defender got too tight, so he just used his body strength, nudged him away, gave him a little bit of space, no backlift, the ball stuck a little bit underneath him, but he just uses the defender who's come in front of him to not allow the keeper to get any sight on it, and with the inside of his foot, bends it into the far corner. And then nothing really happened after that. Henderson came on for Rice in the 82nd minute. Hendo getting on the ball a lot, playing a lot of backwards and sideways passes. He's a bit of a mascot, really, I'd say. And then Reece James came on in added time for Lewis Skelly. In terms of team ratings, Jordan Pickford had nothing to do. Good distribution. Came out once in the last minute out of his box to kind of head it clear. I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10. Walker, who I didn't expect to really start or play again for England, but not a bad decision, I'd say, in that on the few occasions that Albania were able to transition, Walker's pace helped us get out of trouble, and he did reach the byline once. So I'll give Walker a 6.5 out of 10. Lewis Skelly got to give an 8 on debut. He's so young, got a goal. And I've said it during the watch-along. I think we've got another kind of Ashley Cole-level potential player there. He's young, though. He's been sent off a couple of times for Arsenal this season, so there will be, potholes in the road. It won't all be up and up. We'll have to be patient with him at times, but he looks like a real talent. Dan Burn, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. Was impressed with his ball play, playing balls in between the lines. Also his high line when we had the ball kind of 10 yards inside the Albanian half. That allowed us to keep replenishing possession over and over again. Konsa, I'm going to give 7.5. Very impressed with Konsa. And the only difference between him and Dan Burn was he didn't really make any mistakes as far as I'm concerned. Declan Rice, 6.5 out of 10. Did what he had to do, kind of shielding the back four. Foden, 6. Looked a little bit one-dimensional on the right. I think Albania were able to see what he was going to do and come narrow every single time, so he didn't really get in the game. Bellingham, star man, probably 8.5 out of 10, just a cut above. Rashford, 6.5 out of 10, and Kane gets a 7.5 for his goal. In terms of the players coming off the bench, James didn't really have any time to get involved. Henderson, 6.5. Rodgers, 6. Gordon, 6. Bowen, 6. And that is it, really. So, I think most importantly for Thomas Tuchel's first game, you've got to think about this. Tuchel is a manager who, as soon as he has any bad results, any draws in games he should win, he will not be given as much time as Southgate was or Carsley would have been, because he's German. And I hate to say it, and I know it sounds old-fashioned, but the reality is, I'm afraid, especially in this current political climate, a lot of England fans are just a little bit desperate at times to find a reason to complain. So it'll be a comfortable and a satisfying win for Tuchel. I'd expect the same with maybe a goal more or 2 more goals against Latvia on Monday. And I've seen enough, mainly in the counter-pressing, I'd say, to think, okay, he's adding something to this England team, this England squad, which is absolutely chock full of talent. And if he can get the best, this is going to be the key. Can he get the best out of Kane? Can he get the best out of Jude Bellingham? Can he get the best when Saka comes back, who's another brilliant player? And I like the pick of Dan Burn as well. It showed some balance. I think Mark Gahey will feel a bit probably unfairly treated because he did well in the Euros. But he wants a left footer on that left-sided centre-back, and you can see why. Similar reason why under And we want Mickey van der Ven playing there. It gives balance and it enables the ball to be passed quicker out to the wide man. And sometimes England are a little bit stodgy. So any opportunity we can have to get more tempo into the game, I'm all for it. And also Dan Burn, a proper old-fashioned threat from set pieces. And we saw that today as well. So that's been my instant match review to the England 2, Albania 0 game. Very satisfying. Classically kind of slightly dull at times World Cup qualifier, but 2 goals, a goal for Harry Kane, my man, is 70th for England, far and away the top scorer for England. He will be looking to get to 100 goals for England by the end of his career. There's no doubt about that, and he probably won't get far away from it. And a goal for Lewis Skelly on debut. So what's not to like? Well done. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you press like on this and subscribe to the channel. Cheers.